Parsha 101, Haftarah 101. This week's Haftarah is for a double Parsha of Behar-Bechukosai, which are the last two Torah portions of the book of Vayikra, book of Leviticus. And usually when there's two Parshas together, which will happen to try to get through the whole Torah through a year, then the second Haftarah is read. But we'll go through both of them because they're actually both from the book of Jeremiah, the book of Yirmiyahu. And Yirmiyahu, his prophecies were toward the end, toward the destruction. A lot of them revolved around the destruction of the first Beis Hamikdash. So there's a lot of prophecies of not good stuff to come, but also at the same time, a lot of prophecies of the hope and redemption, etc. So what's actually interesting is Behar, this is Jeremiah 32, and Bechukosai is Jeremiah 16. That's where that, so Jeremiah 16 is what's going to be read in Shul, but just quickly go through both of them. The first one for Behar takes place, Yirmiyahu is now, he's been imprisoned by the king of Judah, who the 10 tribes have already been exiled, and now the last two tribes of Judah and Benjamin, Yehuda and Benjamin, are left, and Levites, Kohanim, etc. And Nebuchadnezzar, the Babylonians, they've surrounded Jerusalem. They're laying siege to the city. And it's a siege that went on for a few years. This is 2 years in. Jeremiah's walking around. Yirmiyahu's going around talking about the destruction and all the terrible things to come. That's not it's not very good for morale, and people don't like to hear that. So King Tzidkiyahu imprisons him. In 2 years from now, the whole siege is going to end with the destruction of the first Beis Hamikdash. And the prophecy here is Yirmiyahu speaks about how God says to him, your cousin's going to come, Hanamel, his name is, and he's going to offer to sell you some land. And you should buy the land and and etc. This happens, the cousin comes to sell him the land, then he buys the land, and there's the other Jewish prisoners, they're all witnesses to it, and the scrolls and this, that, whatever, goes through the whole process of it. So what's going on here? The Parsha of Behar speaks about the whole idea of redeeming land. If someone is in desperate straits and they have to sell their land, the land of Israel, it's an inheritance for all the people, and each tribe had their section of land. So if someone, for whatever reason, has to sell the land, the relatives have a certain amount of time to be able to redeem it, to keep it in the family, basically. So this idea is being mirrored here, and this Yirmiyahu, his cousin, is coming to him to say, hey, to buy this land, etc. Then what this has to do with the prophecy of the future is that Yirmiyahu is saying, like, God is instructing me to buy this land, but why would he tell me to do this if we're all about to go into exile and the Beis Hamikdash is going to be destroyed and it's going to be the end of the Jewish sovereignty in the land? It's just a waste of money. It's a whole waste of time and process. So what's going on here? And then he takes it now to say, God is saying this because it's also an indication of what's going to happen in the future. Like, yes, there's going to be this terrible thing is going to occur, but there will be a time when the Jewish people will come back. Jewish people will, again, have sovereignty in the land, and they will buy and sell, keep all the laws of the land, etc. So he also kind of hoped that this would be an opening, like maybe there's still a chance to save everything. So he prays to God and finds comfort in God, etc. So that's the general idea of the first Haftarah. The second Haftarah of Bechukosai, the Parsha of Bechukosai speaks about how the Jewish people must keep the laws of the Shemitah, the sabbatical, about working the land for 6 years, and you have to let it lay fallow, etc. And the punishment for not keeping Shemitah is that the Jewish people would be exiled, because then the land will get its rest. There'll be no one to work it. The general idea. So this prophecy doesn't have a specific story with it as far as what happened in the first one, but this prophecy is about God is my comfort and my refuge, etc. And it's going to come a time when the nations of the land of the world are going to be like, well, what were these lies that our fathers taught us? That everyone's going to turn to God, etc. It says, "Cursed is the man who doesn't believe in God. This person is like a lone tree in the desert. He is all by itself. Good comes, they're not going to see it. It's parched land that it dwells upon, and it's not habitable, etc." And it says, "Praise is one who relies upon God, because it's like a tree that's planted near the water. So even if there's drought or anything like that, this tree is always sustained. The leaves are always green. It's always going to bear fruit, etc." So, of course, a very vivid imagery of speaking about what trust in God is like. That it's sustaining, that it's good and bountiful and brings blessing, etc. And it's actually interesting. There's a line. It's in the middle of the Haftarah, but it's Baruch HaGever Asher Yiftach B'Hashem V'Hai Hashem Miftacho, and this verse is actually said at the end of benching, the end of grace after meals. We use this line of blessed is the one who trusts in God, right? That all comes from God. and God is the one who heals. God is the source of life, etc. And God is our praise. That's the Haftarahs for Behar-Bechukosai.